Dandavad. Hare Krishna. Vishweshwar Prabhu, am I clearly audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you are loud and clear. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, after a long time. Yeah,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad, sadhus.
Dandavad Pranam, Hare Krishna.
You know, I went to Vrindavan. There was some kind of net connection was not so good. And then I stopped, and by the time I returned back, it got delayed. Then last week, I was teaching to our Bhakti Vedanta students. So kind of many program interfere in between. That's why we are not able to continue. But anyway, by Mahaprabhu's mercy, we are back again. It's Mayapur Dham. And we are starting today. I'm really sincerely very sorry for not being able to do the Justice course for more than 1 month. Thank you for your cooperation and tolerance. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Sabakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesutarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Madeka bandhu matsangin madguru manmahadhana Manistarak madbhagya Madananda namastute Asadhu sadhutadayin Atini chuchataraka Anamam chakadachinmam Premnarit kanthayasma Bhutair mahadbhijayma puro vibhu Nirmaya sete jadamu supurusha Bhunte gunan sodasa sodasatmaka Solang krisista bhagavan vachanshime Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, dear devotees. So we have completed up till chapter 3. Today we are going to continue from chapter 4, the process of creation. So before we start with chapter 4, let us give a brief of what we have covered until chapter 3. So Maharaj Parikshit, he asked this question that what is the duty of a dying person and duty in general for all. Then in responding to the question, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he actually spoke about this Krama and Sadhya Mukti Pantha, and he established devotional service is the best process. Having heard the response, the sages in Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka, they are very much intrigued to know more about the discussion that took place between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. First of all, before asking the question, they are glorifying Maharaj Parikshit by telling that Maharaj Parikshit, who was the grandson of Pandavas, and from a very childhood, he was devotee of Lord Krishna. Even as a child, while he was playing, he played with the dolls, Krishna doll, and he used to worship Krishna by imitating the worship of this family deity. So he is such an exalted person. And then they spoke about Srila Sukadeva Goswami because the conversation was going on between Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. So having glorified Maharaj Parikshit, that how from his childhood he was a great soul, then they spoke about Maharaj Sukadeva Goswami, who is the son of Vyasadeva, and he was absorbed in transcendental knowledge, great devotee of Lord Krishna. So they are saying there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna because Maharaj Parikshit, a devotee of Lord Krishna, Sukadeva Goswami as well. So in that way, expressing their desire to hear more about Krishna, they glorified devotional service, starting with saying that those people who do not hear the topics of the personality of Godhead, by rising and setting sun decreases the duration of life of such people. And then they glorified how those who do not utilize their very self in cultivating Krishna consciousness, they waste their life, and concluded by saying that, O Sutta Goswami, whatever you have been speaking, it has been very pleasing to our minds. So therefore, kindly tell us what more they discuss. I mean to say, what was the next question asked by Maharaj Parikshit, so that Sukadeva Goswami could explain to him about the personality of Godhead. So that is how we concluded chapter 3, that the sages in Naimisharanya, they have expressed their earnest desire to hear more about Krishna. So that discussion which took place between Sukha and Maharaj Parikshit. So then, in the beginning of chapter 4, Srila Sutta Goswami, he starts responding to their questions. But before he started responding to the questions, he gave a brief summary of the position of Maharaj Parikshit. Means, after hearing the answer from the lips of Srila Sukadeva Goswami, what was the situation of Maharaj Parikshit, what he had attained in his life. So in the beginning, as we do the chapter summary by Srila Siddhar Swami, so Siddhar Swami writes, Turiye Parikshita Prishtam Sustyadi Parichastitam. So in the fourth chapter, Maharaj Parikshit, he asked the question concerning creation, which is nothing but a pastime of the Supreme Lord, Parichestitam. Sukena Brahma Tatputra Sambadeno Bhavarnyate. And Srila Sukadev Goswami, while describing the creation, the pastime of the Lord, he refers to the conversation between Brahma and Narada. That means Brahma, he had revealed the detail about creation subject. That knowledge he had received from his father Narayana. So in that way, now Maharaj Parikshit, Sukadev Goswami, is going to relay the conversation between Maharaj Parikshit, Brahma and Narad Muni. So in this chapter, the first 4 verses where Sutta Goswami, he speaks about Maharaj Parikshit upon hearing the narration from Sukadev Goswami, he became firmly fixed in the natural love for Krishna. And then he is going to ask the question. So text number 1, it begins with Vaiyasake Sutauvacha Vaiyasake Vachastattu Nishchayamatmanaha Upadharya Matim Krishne Autteriya Satim Vyadhat. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadev Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. The word Satim is very significant. This means existing and chaste. So, Maharaj Parikshit, he was such a great soul. From his childhood, he was very much connected to Krishna. So, he fixed his mind onto Krishna. Then he started asking the question. So, Prabhupada, he writes in the purport that in the womb of his mother, he was struck by the Brahmastra atomic bomb released by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from being burnt by the fiery weapon. And since then, the king continuously concentrated his mind upon Lord Krishna, which made him perfectly chaste in devotional service. So in that way, he was fully fixed in Krishna consciousness. Atmajaya sutagara pasu draguna bandhusu rajye cha vikale nityam virudham mamatam joho. Now they are speaking about, this Sutta Goswami is speaking more about Maharaj Parikshit. Atmajaya sutagara suddha draguna bandhusu. Pasu draguna bandhusu. So since Maharaj Parikshit was a king, so obviously he had his wife, his children, his house, he had many animals, and he had great wealth, friends, and Rajye Chavikale Nityam. And he had was Chakravarti Samrat, right? Many kings were under him. And he gave up Joho Mamatam, Virudha Mamatam. His attachment to the possessions as a king was very deep, but as he fixed his attention onto Krishna, he gave up such deep-rooted attachment. And then what happened? papracha chemame bardham janmam prachyatha sammataha krishnanu bhavasravane saddadhano mahamanaha samstham vigyaya samnyastasya karma traiva vikanchajat vasudeve bhagavati atma bhavam dridhangata. So in that way, they are saying, he's saying, our Sukadeva Goswami is saying, O great sages, the great soul, Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sensual education, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna, and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. So he is saying that you want to know more, and the same question you want to know about the creation. So same question was asked by Maharaj Parikshit. So I will narrate that discussion before you all. Prabhupada gives very long purport. If you read everything, it will not be possible, but one person definitely I would like to read in this connection. This is in the middle of the first paragraph, so big paragraph. Says, devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of material attachment. As detailed above, by the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position of king, but by the grace of the Lord, he was able to give up all connections with material attachment. So by the grace of the Lord. So in that way, he was a king, but how he was able to successfully give up his attachment? That due to the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And then further down in the second paragraph, Prabhupada writes in the middle, one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nilbandha Krishna Sambandha, must give up all material connections before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Or, in other words, one who has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for even one day, like Maharaj Parikshit, from a fit personality like Sukadeva Goswami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. There is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Bhagavatam from professional man, even for 700 years. To take Srimad Bhagavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the greatest type of namaparad, offense at the feet of the Lord. Sarva shubha kriya samyam api pramada. So in that way, he speaks about, he's going to now ask question to the Maharaj Parikshit. So in text number 5, he's going to now ask the question. Samichinam vacha brahmam sarvajnasya tavanah tamam visirijate mayham hare kathayatah katham tamam visirijate mayham. He's saying that, oh, learned Sukadeva Goswami, my ignorance is dissipated upon hearing you. Therefore, Samichinam Vacha Brahman Sarvajnasya Tavada. You know everything because you are without material contamination. That's why Tama Visijyate Maya. And upon hearing you, your great speech, it is destroying my darkness. My ignorance is dissipated. Because you are narrating topics of the Lord. So that means now he's going to ask the question. What is the question? Mostly he's asking, Bhuya eva vivitsami Bhagavan Atmamaya jathedam sijate vishwam durvibhavya adhishwarahi. So here it is said that Bhagavan Atmamaya jathedam sijate vishwam. How the Supreme Lord, by taking his internal potency, he creates this cosmos. Bhuyo eva vivitsami. So I used to know. So kindly narrate to me how the Lord creates this world by taking his internal potency. So in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada writes, in every inquisitive mind, the important question of the creation of the phenomenal world arises. And therefore, for a personality like Maharaj Parikshit, who was to know all the activities of the Lord from his spiritual master, such as inquiring is not uncommon. So we need to understand that sometimes in this world, some people directly jump into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there is mention about the confidential pastimes between Radha and Krishna. So now the question is, why in the beginning Maharaj Parikshit? Because since Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee of Lord Krishna from his childhood, he does not need to ask this question concerning this material creation by the Lord. Rather, he could have directly entered into the 10th canto to hear about the confidential dealings between Krishna and the gopis. So why did he do that? Who would like to tell us? See, he's asking this question about creation in the beginning. Why did he do that? Why he would do that? Why he didn't directly go to the 10th canto? Now we are hearing this. Any comment?
Prabhuji, this is also realizable. I mean, 10th canto is realizable. This is also realizable, Prabhuji.
Okay, realizable, that's okay. But why he's asking this question? Realizable in one way, okay. Any other explanation? Yes, go ahead. Sucharupatma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It's about mainly two energies, that is the internal and external. So the acharyas say that it is first important for us to know about the external energy, how he creates. Only when we know his greatness, how great he is, then only we'll be able to relish the other topics, the pastimes, or else the pastimes will be considered as like just an ordinary thing. Like we will not be serious about the pastimes.
Shida Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. My point also same as Mataji. Without understanding the greatness of the Supreme Lord, those people who try to read the pastimes and all, it's just like they treat Krishna as like human being only, or even if they say they God also, it's like theoretical only. So one should know the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead first. That's why so many cantos, which lays one after the other. Only in the 10th canto, the greatness is it goes into the devotional pastimes of the Lord.
Your response reminded me about Lord Brahma. Brahma tells in his prayer, sorry, this is a nice thing to kind of relish in this connection. Brahma is telling to Krishna, he said, look, there are some people in this world, they say they know about you, my dear. Whatever they say, maybe, anyway, I don't want to criticize them here. I, being the kind of Veda Garbha, in the beginning, you actually imparted Vedic knowledge unto me. And I know Veda, I'm the most learned person in this creation. Even if somebody who is created in my, in this creation by me, even if they say I don't want to criticize them, but at least I can tell you, I do not know about your glories. I cannot explain anything. So such is the greatness. See, this creation, many people, they think this is just, material thing, or it is eternal. Anyway, there's no one who has created this. It is there. Even if somebody is creator, he has created it for us. It has got nothing to do with the creator. So people have all sorts of funny opinion. But here, Maharaj Parikshit is very particular about why he is doing that. Yes, Ladini Gopika, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, pranams, glories to Prabhupada. Definitely Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, they are pure devotees. However, in the audience, there were many Mayavadis sitting there, the sages who had assembled. And so for the benefit of them, so that the interest remains, and to slowly kind of go from the lotus feet of the Lord all the way to the face. That was the so-called tactic that was used, so that, the interest remains of those who are attending.
Okay, that answer is also concerning that why, when Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee and Shukadev Goswami was also a devotee, he had to narrate about this Krama Mukti Pantha, where gradually people elevate from karma to jnana to yoga, then to bhakti, because there are some other people who might take advantage of such discussion. That's why he did discussed about this, karma, jnana, and yoga. But anyway, in this connection, that's why Maharaj Parikshit asked a question about creation instead of directly jumping into the 10th canto, because in order to leave example for the future readers and hearers, that this is a systematic approach of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, so that people can take lesson from Maharaj Parikshit and they can perfect their life. Therefore, like, for example, we are doing this study. We are doing Prabhupada has recommended for do Bhakti Shastri, then Bhakti Vaibhav, then Bhakti Vedanta, then Bhakti Sarvabhauma. So there is a system that if we start from the beginning, then there is every possibility of getting the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is kind of an example you want to do, live for the future readers. And that is how we are also following. So then he asked the question 7. Jatha gopayati bihur jatha sangyachati punah nijangyam shakti mupasitya purush shakti parahupuman atmanam kridayan kridan koroti vikaroti cha. So he's saying, kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again finding of the phenomenal world in a sporting spirit of a player. That means, why does he do this? And even if he is doing, then Nunam Bhagavata Brahman Harel Adbhuta Karma. This is a very wonderful activity of the Lord. Why? Durvibhavyam Nivabhati. कभी भी Chapi Chastitam. So that's why he's saying that these are all inconceivable, because the great souls, the learned scholars, have still proved insufficient for understanding. So therefore, I want to kind of know about it. So please narrate those to me. In this, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the working of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Sukadeva Goswami for such impetuous Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, descendant of Pandavas, and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the Lord, but that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that even after great effort. That means this is also another thing. Even in our this Bhagavatam also, not many people like this creation topic. It's quite kind of confusing and very technical. So therefore, many people don't like to read this part. But he's asking therefore, Jatha Gunastu Prakritir Jugapat Kamaso Viva. Is it so that Lord simultaneously assumes all these gunas, sattva, raja, and taman, then creates, or gradually he takes them up, then creates? Vivarti Bhuri Saspeka Kurban Karmani Janmati. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. Whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms as expanded consecutively to direct the modes of nature. That means he is asking that kindly narrate to me how Lord uses these modes of nature to create. Then in text number 10, he's saying, kindly clear off all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literature and self-realized in transcendence, but also a great devotee of the Lord, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. So, Prabhupada, where the first paragraph is saying, in the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallible, expanded by innumerable forms, none different from one another. And although he is the original person, he is still very young with permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees. So in that way, he is asking to narrate about the creation. The last paragraph, quite interesting. The Lord's pastime in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but his external potential works are directed in his feature of Karanadakshayi Vishnu, Garudakshayi Vishnu, and Kshodakshayi Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities like Rasa Lila, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Purushavataras in connection with Srishti Tattva, creational functions, following the examples of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and Sukadeva, okay, the spiritual master. Anyway, so then now, Sutta Goswami is saying that Itupa mantato ragyo gunam kathane hare ishikesa manusmritya pratibhaktum prachakrame. So Maharaj Parikshit has asked the question concerning creation. Now before responding, he is going to offer his Mangalachan prayers. He is going to offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord and his spiritual master. So that is what he is going to do, and then he will start speaking. So then from starting with text number 12 until text number 24, means until the end of this chapter, now Sukadeva Goswami is going to do the Mangalachan. This is the famous Mangalachan prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the actual Mangalachan prayer chanted by Sukadeva Goswami for narrating Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us read every verse by verse, and understand his prayers. Sukavacha Namastasmai Namaha Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sadudbhavasthana Nirodha Lidaya Grihita Shakti Tritayaya Dehinam Antar Bhavaya Nupalokshyavartmane. First is saying Namaha Parasmai. Parasmai in Namaha means he want to offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who has been defined here as the Sarvottamaya. He is the greatest of all. That's why Parasmai, the Supreme Person. So he's saying, let me offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Purushaya Bhuyase Sadudbhavasthana Nirodha Leelaya. So he is actually the cause of Sad, Udbhava, and Nirodha. So he is actually the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of everything. How does he do that? Grihita Sakti Tritaya Dehina. So by taking shelter of his potencies, he does this. Okay? But then the question can be asked, when Lord does all these activities, then why it is not seen? Right? Not many people have the eyes to see how Lord, by assuming these energies, he is engaged in creation, maintenance, and destruction of this cosmos. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Antar Bhavayanu Palakyavartmane. He is in the heart, he resides within everything, but still, Anupalakyavartmane, he is inconceivable. Means what he is doing, what he desires, nobody knows. Sridhar Swami is writing Tatra Hetu. Bhuyase apari mahimamne tad darsayati satah prapanchasya udbhavadishu nimitta bhuta jalila taya grihitam brahmadi rupena raja adi shakti tritayam tena jena tasmai. Okay, so he is saying, for the creation, the same Lord, he assumes the form of Brahma, and for maintenance, he assumes the form of Vishnu, and for dissolution, he becomes Shiva. This is how Tritayaya, Tri Shakti, Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Then he is engaged in the creation aspect. Srila Prabhupada writes, Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which one can become competent to know him, means Krishna. Because the empiric philosophers and mystic yogis cannot conceive of the personality of Godhead. He is called Anupalakshya, the Lord of the inconceivable way, or Bhakti Yoga. Then it says, Bhuyo Namah Sad Vijinachi Satam Asambhavaya Khila Sattva Pumsam Punopadamaham Shastrame Vyavasthitanam Anumrigyadasuse. Bhuya Nama. He is saying, Bhuya means again. He is not offering obeisances only once, but he is offering obeisances again and again. So, again and again, Bhuya Nama. Sad Brijino Chide means actually you you give liberation to your devotees. So you say, I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of the complete existence of and the transcendence. That is, who is that? That is Tumsam Punah Paramaham Shastram. Akhira Sattva Murta. Akhira Sattva Murta. So Lord's form is of complete transcendence. So he's offering obeisances to him. Who is the liberator of the pious devotees? So he gives liberation to his devotees. And second thing he does is and the second thing is destroyer of the further advances, destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demon. So two things here it is explained that Lord is doing. Those who are devotee of the Lord, he helps them to become free from this material existence. And those who are non-devotees, for them, he is also helping them. Okay, but the third thing is very, very important. Pumsam Punah Paramahamsa Asrame Vyavasthitanam Anumrigya Dasuse. Actually, those who are in the Paramahamsa ashram, the sadhu sannyasis, they can actually come to the platform of self-realization by this supreme grace of the Supreme Lord. So, in that way, he is actually center of everything. It is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami that those who are in the path of jnana, how do they realize Brahman? Even though those who follow the path of jnana, they feel that by simply studying the Veda, they can realize the self. Your self means Brahman. And then after knowing Brahman, they can know the Param Brahman. But according to Srila Jiva Goswami, he says, those who accept Lord's body as eternal and they engage themselves in devotional service by following the path of jnana, when they give up the idea of understanding the Lord simply by practicing this process of circulation, then only Lord showers his blessings to these people, these jnanis, and they can only after that they will know about the spirit soul, and understanding this Brahman, which is spirit soul, they can also understand Param Brahman. How? Because there is similarity, there is sameness between Brahma and Param Brahma in consciousness. They share the same consciousness. So in that way, these people are not ordinary people. Therefore, here it is said, for the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. That means, even if they practice this process of jnana, but they cannot attain him through their own practice, that Lord himself grants their specific destinations. Prabhupada writes in the purport in the middle of the first paragraph, where he's writing Jasya Prabha, after that 1, 2, 3, 4th line. The pious men who follow the rulings of the Vedas are also dear to him. And therefore, the pious men of this world are also protected by him. The impious and the non-devotees are against the principles of the Vedas, and so much so, such persons are always hampered from making advances in their nefarious activities. Some of them who are specially favored by the Lord are killed by him personally, as in the cases of Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, and Kamsa. And thus such demons get salvation and are thereby checked from further progress in their demoniac activities. Just like a kind father, either in his favor upon the devotees or his punishment of the demons, he is ever kind to everyone because he is the complete existence for all individual existence. So for Lord, there is no one very dear, or he neither hates anyone. He is equal to all. So in that way, he likes everybody. So then he continues the next verse, text number 14. Namo namaste Strishabhaya Satvadam Vidurakasthaya Muhu Kojoginam Nirasta Samyati Sayena Radhasa Shodhamani Brahmani Ramsate Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto he who is the associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty, and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. So here, Sridhar Swami, he comments very nicely, Sattvatam Bhaktanam Rishabhaya Palakaya. So he is offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who is the protector of his chaste devotees. He takes care of the devotees, Palakaya. Ko Joginam Bhakti Hinanam Vidura Kastha Dig Api Jasya Durgyo Ityartha. Those who are attached to this materialistic life, Lord is very difficult to be attained by such people. Tad evam Vaishamya Pratiti. So if we say that those who are non-devotee, they cannot attain the Lord, that means Lord is becoming partial, right? He is attained by a devotee but not attainable by non-devotee. That's why Nirdasutyaya Achintya Aishwarya. So this is how it is happening. It's nothing to do with the Lord, but because of his inconceivable potential, these things are happening. That is why he is Achintya Aishwarya is described, its inconceivable opulence is described in text number 14. Nirastam samyati sayascha yasya jad tekshayanyasya samyam ati sayascha nasti tena radhasa aishwaryana shodhamani swarupe brahmani ramamanaya. So here he is saying that like Upanishad says that natat samaschat bhadikascha drishyate. So nobody is equal to him or greater than him. Therefore, he is saying just simply I want to offer my obeisances unto you. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto he who is the associate of the members of the Jadu dynasty and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds. Yet he enjoys his own abode in spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. It's very difficult to understand. Then in text number 15, it's saying, Sarva sadhanebhyo bhakte saishthyam anusmaran pranamati jat kirtanam iti dvabhyam. In 2 verses, starting with this Jat Kirtanam verse in text number 15. For 2 verses, he is going to glorify the devotional service. Jat Kirtanam Jat Smaranam Jadikshanam Jat Bandhanam Jat Samanam Jadarhanam Lokasya Sadhya Vidhunaya Kalpus Lokasya Sadhya Vidhunoti Kalmasam Tasmai Subhadra Savase Namo. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrances, audience, prayers, hearing, and worshipping can advance claims the effects of all sins of the performer. So, when somebody is engaged in glorifying the Supreme Lord, then Lord becomes very easily attainable. The second paragraph I'm reading. The devotees need not be disappointed in the physical absence of the Lord. Though they may think of not being associated with him, the devotional process of chanting, hearing, remembering, etc., either all or some of them, or even one of them, can give us the desired result of associating with the Lord by discharging the devotional service, discharging the transcendental loving service of the Lord in the above manner. Then in text number 16, is also again speaking about that bhakti is the best of all the processes. Vichikshana sat charanopasadana sangam vedasyo hayato antaratmana vindanti brahmagati gataklama tasmai subhadra savase namo namah. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna. The highly intellectual simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet are relieved of all attachments to persons and future existences, and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. So that means those who are very expert in understanding the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. So Vichakshana, they're actually very highly intellectual people. Jat Charanopasadhanat. Charanopasadhanat means simply by dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Sangam Vedasya Ubhaya Antaratmana. Ubhaya Antaratmana means these people who are actually very much intelligent, and they give up their attachment to the objects either in this world or in the next world. That means, as we know, those who follow this karma kanda section of the Vedas, either these people are inclined to enjoy in this body as long as they continue to remain in this world, or after giving up the body, they try to go to the higher planet to enjoy there. But in this connection, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Vichakshana Charanopasadana Sangam Vidasya Bhaya. So by the mercy, the blessing of the Supreme Lord, actually, even if a person desires to give up the attachment, the enjoying spirit in this world, will not be able to do this, or even after giving up the body also, the impression still remains. But that impression can be eradicated by the mercy of the Supreme. That's why Vindanti hi Brahma gating gatattvamaha tasmai svadra. So, without getting freed from the material contaminations, one cannot go in spiritual life. Second paragraph. Person who are intelligent takes serious notice of this last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual realization, which is called confidential knowledge, and a step further is God realization, which is called more confidential knowledge. The culmination of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is God realization. And when one attains the stage of God realization, he naturally, voluntarily becomes a devotee of the Lord to render him loving transcendental service. Okay, then text number 17. Tapasvina dana parajasasvina manosvina mantra vida sumangalaha kshemam na bindanti vinajadarpanam tasmai subhadra savasena. Here he is speaking a very beautiful thing. What he is saying? He is saying, Bhakti Sunyanam Sarva Sadhana Vaibhavyam Darshan Namati. That means he is saying that there are people in this world who take shelter of different austerities. They perform some sacrifices, they give charity, or they are actually very expert in understanding the Vedas, chanting the hymns of the Vedas, and they follow different rituals that are mentioned in the Vedas. But these practices cannot help one attain the Supreme. Khemamna bindanti bina jadarpana. Therefore, the basic principle of our organization is, as we know, Prabhupada has explained, has said us, whatever we do it for Krishna. Right? This is the principle here. Sukadeva Goswami is saying. Khemam na bindanti binaja darpanam. Without surrendering our results or activities unto the Supreme Lord, we cannot attain peace and success. No Khem. That's what he is saying. Tapasvino dhanapana. There are people who are very, tapasvis. The great learned sages, dhanapara. They, some others they give charity. And jasasvina, who perform some distinctive works. Jasasvina, manasvina. Manasvina means the great philosopher or mystics. Then mantra vidaha. Those who know the science of mantra, they chant Vedic mantras, and Shu Mangala, strict followers of Vedic principles. So those who have become elevated, they can actually understand this principle clearly, and they surrender all their activities unto the Supreme Lord. Then only they attain Kshema, the success. So in the beginning, advancement of learning, a charitable disposition, political, social, or religious leadership of human society, philosophical speculations, the practice of the yoga system, expertise in the Vedic rituals, and all similar high qualities in men serve one in the attainment of perfection only. When they are employed in the service of the Lord, without such endeavor, dovetailing, all such qualities become source of trouble. For people in general, everything can be utilized either for one's own sense gratification or in the service of one other than oneself. So in that way, the point is people who do not know that ultimately they have to surrender all their activities, they are not very fortunate people. Everybody in this world are self-centered, selfish. Whatever they do, because there is a motive behind. But if one can be freed from such motives and do everything for the Lord's sake, then only he can get the benefit. It's a very nice mood Prabhupada is expressing at the last part of this purport. Is saying, the expert leaders of a godless human civilization cannot bring about a fruitful result in all their different attempts at educational, advertisement, or economic development unless they are God conscious. And to become God conscious, one has to hear about the all auspicious Lord, as he is described in literature like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Unless we hear, then we will not know. That's why here you have been given a lot of info. Sridhar Prabhu, you wanted to ask something?
Prabhu, I was mistakenly reading the fruitful result as fruitive result. So my question is already answered.
Okay.
So I was thinking, how cannot people, anyway, I don't want to waste time. It's okay. I was thinking how people can achieve the fruitive result without dedication, because so many people are getting the fruitive result without dedicating to the Supreme Lord. But I wrongly read it as fruitive, but it's actually fruitful. It's already clear. Thank you.
Okay. Then in text number 18, is speaking that bhaktehe parama suddhi hetutvam darshan aha. The devotional service acts as the highest principle to purify everybody. Means there is no such process which can purify one as quickly as the execution of devotional service. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhir sumbhajavana kasadaya jenye cha papa jadapasraya sudhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namah. So he is speaking here about Papa Yoni and Papa Karma. There are some people who are born in certain species which are called Papa Yoni. And there are others who perform some activities which are Papa Karma. Even these people, if they're going to take shelter of a devotee of the Lord, Jadapasraya Asraya, Apasraya Asraya, means the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord, if someone is going to take shelter of their lotus feet, Khemam Bindanti, Shuddhanti Tasmai, they become purified. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto Prabhu Vishnu. Vishnu, powerful Vishnu. Very long purport. Speaking all these different races, Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pukas, who are they, where they have come from, and all. These things, you can also read. But last paragraph conclusion. The conclusion is that the Lord, being all powerful, can under any and every circumstance accept anyone from any part of the world, either personally or through his bona fide manifestation as the spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya accepted many devotees from communities other than the Varnashramis, and he himself declared to teach us that he does not belong to any caste or social order of life, but that he is the eternal servant of the supreme servant of the Lord who maintains the dangers of Lord Krishna. This is the way of self-realization. So how to get into this platform of self-realization? That is, just surrender unto those who are surrendered unto the Lord. Because actually, who is purifying? Who is the purifier here? Lord himself, actually, he purifies everything. Like in Ganga's pastime, we have seen that when Bhagirath he went to bring Ganga, then Ganga Devi told him one thing. She said, when I go to Martyaloka, the earth planet, and then the sinful people will come, they will take their bath and they will leave their sin on me. So then what will be my hope? Therefore, Bhagirathi responded that your devotees will come and take bath. That's how they will, help you to become released of these sins. That is very, very important. That's why taking shelter of a devotee who is carrying the Lord in his heart, very important. Actually, Lord cleanses the contaminations. Lord is cleansing the contaminations. This is what is. That's why this is the topmost process, purifying process. Narahide Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have one question specifically here. One province, Andhra, is mentioned. And sometimes it's very difficult when we're distributing books, especially the Bhagavatam set, and they say why Andhra is mentioned, because they say, oh, in Andhra, we have Lord Tirupati, Balaji is there, we have all the holy rivers, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, so many Narsingha Kshetras are there, and then you're saying this, how you can, so I don't know how to give the answer, Prabhu, how we should justify this particular statement.
Very interesting point. People are so attached to all these things. You see, that's why I told you two things. You just understand this thing. You are saying, Kirata je papa, jata anmecha je karmata. Here, even though Prabhupada is mentioned, but the inner meaning is there are some people who belong to Papa Jati, and there are others who belong to Papa Karma. It's nothing to do with Andhra Pradesh or people who reside in Andhra Pradesh. These are some people who are very sinful in their very birth, and there are others who are sinful by their karma. So you tell them that, look, in Andhra, is there any person who is sinful by karma or not? Not everybody is a devotee of Balaji, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Even the Balaji is there, but how many people have become devotees of Balaji? There are some others who are still not. So that is what it means. In karmata and janmata, by birth and by activity. This is what it is. Sridhar is clearly mentioning that kirata doyoje papa jataya. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkas. So there papa jataya. The jati is sinful. And then Anye cha je karmata. Others who are sinful by their karma. Okay. Then text number 19. Text number 19. Soyesha atma bhathamadishvara strayi mayo dharma maya stapo maya gatabhyalikai ajasankaradivi vitarkalingo bhagavan prasidatam. He is the super soul and the supreme Lord of all self-realized souls. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Shiva, and all those who are transcendental to all presentations and pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may the Supreme Absolute be pleased with me. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the beginning, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, although the Lord of all followers of different paths of self-realization, is knowable only by those who are above all pretensions. That means as long as one is pretentious, he will not know the Lord. This is the message. Very big purport of Hari. Again, towards the end, the conclusion is therefore that the Lord is for everyone because no one can achieve result of his respective desires without his sanction. But as stated by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 8:9, all such results are awarded by him. For the Lord is Adhishwara, the original controller. For everyone, namely the Vedantists the great karmakandiyas, the great religious leaders, the great performers of austerity, and all who are striving for spiritual advancement. But ultimately, he is realized by the pretensionless devotees only. Therefore, special stress is given to the devotional service of the Lord by Dr.Prashant. So as long as people carry pretension in their heart, they will not be able to know the Lord. This is the thing he's trying to bring to the attention. And then he said, Lord Krishna is the maintainer of all, Sarvapalaka. While remembering Krishna as the maintainer of all, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Sriyaha patirjagya patih prajapati dhyam patir lokapati dharapati patir gatischandhakabhismi sattvatam prasidatam me bhagavan satampati. May Lord Sri Krishna, who is the worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddesses of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all. Be merciful upon me. Again, very long, lengthy purport. What to say if I just read anything? Anyway, one portion I just wanted to read. Towards the end of the first paragraph, Lord Chaitanya was a strict sannyasi, so much so that he did not allow any woman to come near him, not even to bow down and offer respects. He never even heard the prayers of the Devadasis offered in the temple of Jagannath, because a sannyasi is forbidden to hear songs sung by the fair sex. Yet, even in the rigid position of the sannyasi, he recommended the mode of worship preferred by the gopis of Vrindavan as the topmost loving service possible to be rendered to the Lord. And Srimati Radharani is the spiritual head of all such goddesses of fortune, and therefore she is the pleasure counterpart of the Lord and is non-different from Krishna. Then he continues in text number 21. He says, Jadanghribhidhyana samadhi dhautaya dhyan pasyanti cha tattvamatmana vadanti chaitat kavayo jatharucham Swame Mukundo Bhagavan Prasidatam. Jadangri Abhidhana Samadhi Dhautaya Dhyan Pasyanti Tattvamatma. Actually, those who by following the Samadhi Yoga, they have become purified, then Tattva Atmana Dhiya Anupashyanti. By their intelligence, they can see the Atma Tattva, Atma. Therefore, in these two verses, 21 and 22, he is speaking about the bestower of knowledge. Actually, Lord Krishna is the bestower of knowledge. Without connecting oneself with the Lord, with Krishna, how much they try to study Shastra and hallucinate, they will not know anything. They will not find anything. Therefore, they actually see the Atma Tattva by the grace of the Lord. That is the message. Second verse also, same theme is being repeated, that Lord bestows the jnana. 22. Prachodita jena pura saraswati vitanmatajasya sitim smitim jidi swalakshna pradurabhut kilasvatah swame rishinam rishabha prasidhatam. So here he is saying Prachodita jena pura saraswati. Sometime before they ask about this question about the Saraswati, the connection, reciting the prayers, right? And what is the verse? In the beginning, we chant
Narayana Namaskritya. That one.
Yes. And here also you can see Prasodita Jena Pura Saraswati. Actually, this Saraswati, who is the goddess of learning, she was inspired by Lord Krishna to become manifest in Brahma. Not that Saraswati has a special position just on her own, can inspire anyone to achieve any knowledge. Lord Brahma did not know. He didn't have any knowledge about creation, right, in the beginning. But how did he get it? Prachodita jena pura Saraswati. Then Vitanmatajasya satim hridim smritim hridi. Vitanmata. Ajasya hridi vitanmata. You actually expanded the knowledge by inspiring this Devi Saraswati in Brahma. That's why she could know how to create. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplify the patent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart. You see, that means that's through by inspiring Saraswati, that is what it is. And inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Uchodita jena pura Saraswati. In last paragraph, Shukadev Goswami is praying from the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord, so that he could rigidly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaj Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but in Kshatriyam, Brahmanishta. There Kshatriyam and Brahmanishta. Spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator. Then Bhutair Mahabhir Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Sete Jadamo Supurusha Bhunte Gunam Sodasa Sodasatmaka Solam Krisista Bhagavan Vachansime. Is now describing Lord in another way. Bhutai mahadbhija ima purovibu nirmaya sete. This, the body of the living entities, which are composed of the 5 great elements, Mahabhuta, right? Bhutai mahadbhija, Mahadbhuta. And then after creating these bodies, Lord enters into everybody as a super soul. Nirmaya sete jad amshu purusha. In this body, having the body which he has created by using the material elements, then he enters into everybody as super soul. That is what it is. And then bhungte gunan sodasatmaka. Is this like by using the 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 10 plus mind is equal to 11 plus this 5 either tanmatras or or the great elements. How can Lord enjoy bhungte? Actually, the living entities are actually bhakta. Not Lord is bhakta. He is within the body, like we have seen the analogy from the Upanishad, right? Here in this verse, you see bhungte gunan sodasatma. Who is enjoying? If you describe this as the Lord is enjoying, there's some other people they describe like that. That's a wrong thing. No, Lord is not enjoying. Enjoyer is the jiva. But because of his close proximity, it has been defined like this. Solam prasasta bhagavan vachansi. Let him appear on my tongue. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who is in Purusha incarnation, causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 diffusions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. So here, Sukadeva Goswami is praying the Lord that without him getting the mercy of the Supreme Lord, means without his peace getting decorated by the Supreme Lord, will not be able to stand. Therefore, it is very, very important for the devotees to chant these mangalas and prayers. We get information from the Vedic literature that the Lord himself first entered the vacuum of the material universe, and thus all things gradually developed one after another. Similarly, the Lord is situated as localized Paramatma in every individual being. Hence, everything is done by him very beautifully. The 16 principal creative elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, and the 11 sense organs, first developed from the Lord himself and was thereby shared by the living entities. Thus, the material elements were created for the enjoyment of the living entities. The beautiful arrangement behind all material manifestations is therefore made possible by the energy of the Lord, and the individual living entity can only pray to the Lord to understand it properly. Since the Lord is the supreme entity, different from Shukadeva Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him, and the Lord helps the living entity to enjoy material creation. But he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Shukadeva prays for the mercy of the Lord, and not only for the beginning, helped personally in presenting in the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. Then finally, he is concluding. Namastasmai Bhagavate Purushaya Vedhase Papur Jnanamayam Somya Janmukhamudhasava. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the sincere narration of the incarnation of Vasudeva, and who compiled the Vedic literatures. The pure devotees drink of the nectarian transcendental knowledge, dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. Namastasmai Bhagavate Purusaya Vedase. Papur Jan Jnanamayam Soumya Janmukham Guruhasva. Then finally he says that Etavad Eto Devatmabhu Rajan Naradaya Vikrichyate. My dear King, Brahma, the firstborn, on being questioned by Narada, exactly appraised him on this subject as it was directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth. So here the point is so now he is going to refer to the answer by referring to the Brahma Narada Samvada. And how did Brahma get this message? Actually, he got it from the Supreme Lord in the beginning, the very birth. This is about creation. So Prabhupada writing, second paragraph, there is no use in theories, knowledge must be factual. There are many things that are complicated and one cannot understand them unless they are explained by one who knows. The Vedic knowledge is also very difficult to know and must be learned by the above mentioned system. Otherwise, it is not at all understood. Sukadeva Goswami therefore prayed for the mercy of the Lord so that he might be able to repeat the very same message that was spoken directly by the Lord to Brahma, or what was directly spoken to Brahma or Narada. Therefore, the statements of creation explained by Sukadeva Goswami are not at all, as the mundaners suggest, theoretical, but are perfectly correct. One who hears these messages and tries to assimilate them gets perfect information of the material creation. So this is the Shruti Phala. Anyone who hears this message, then they get released from this material engagement. Thus end the Bhakti Vaibhav purports of the second canto, fourth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Process of Creation. Narahari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have two questions. Prabhu, in text number 22, here the Sukadeva Goswami is saying that the Lord who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma. Why is that mentioned like that? That Lord is generated from the mouth of Brahma, Prabhu?
No, here actually he has inspired him from within. That's how he was able to speak the Veda. That is what it is. English translation, you see the Sanskrit, Pachorita Jana Pura Saraswati, Vitannata Jasya Satim Hri. He actually inspired him from his heart, Hri.
Okay.
And how did he do that? Through this energy, Saraswati.
Saraswati, okay.
That means here Saraswati is not very important. Importance is given to the Supreme Lord. Because he is offering the prayers, no?
Yes. Prabhu.
Sachimata. Another question, yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, this one is from text number 11, Prabhu. So, the Prabhupada here, he's translating that Sukadeva Goswami, he's systematically remembering Krishna. So, the systematic remembering, and then we see this lot of prayers are offered, like the next rest of the chapter. So is this is this like a Mangala Charana? Like before we speak, we are also remembering, we're chanting. So so then my question that is, Prabhu, is like you taught us like Mangala Charana is of 3 types: Vastu Nirdesha, Ashirvada, and Namaskar. So which category are these prayers? Like, is it Vastu Nirdesha, Ashirvada, Namaskar? Like which categories do they fall in?
All 3 are there. If you read, then you can understand. Definitely when he's saying Tasmai Swadra Savasya Namo Nama, Namaskar is there. Okay. Then Vastu Nirdesha is speaking about the glory. For example, this Prachodita Jana Pura Saraswati. What is this? Is the opulence of the Lord. And that how he inspired Saraswati, so that Brahma could speak the Vedas. So in that way, indirectly it is glorified. The Lord, the Supreme Lord is glorified. No credit to this person. It was Prachodita Jana Pura. Then only Brahma was able to create. So the Vastu, describing the Vastu. Similarly, but this entire this 13 verses, in text number 12 under 24, this is the Bangladesh.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And Sachimata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Now, Prabhuji, I had a question about the chapter, the process of creation. The prayers, Sukadeva Goswami is praying so that he can prepare himself to speak about the creation, because except for the verse 23, much of the details are about Sukadeva Goswami's prayers.
Correct. Why it is said process of creation, right?
I find it Prabhupada, but I would like to get some enlightenment.
Yeah, I understand. You see, of course, this chapter is predominantly speaking about the prayers of Sukadeva Goswami, but the name has been given the process of creation because the question was asked concerning creation, and then in the part that is going to continue like that. This is that is the main theme here. And Sukadeva Goswami, by the way, before he starts responding the answer, he is going to do the Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan is there, 12 verses. But if you want to recognize this chapter as the Mangalacharan for Bhagavatam, then we will not have any objection for that also. No problem. You can do it.
Sure. Thank you.
Some people they say like that actually. They say this chapter is Mangalacharan chapter. Either way, it's okay, no problem. But here we are what I can understand is that is the main kind of connection here. Why is chanting Mangalacharan prayer? Not that he's chanting also for anything. His specific goal, what is that? That question concerning creation what has been asked. Now he's going to elaborate and start discussing from the next chapter, from chapter 5. But this is the process of creation. Maybe if we everything like whatever information. Sridhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. In the verse 22, the translation of the Saraswati is given as goddess of learning. So my understanding please correct my understanding, Prabhu. My understanding is this means it is the internal potency of the Lord, and the Saraswati, who is consort of Lord Brahma, is different from.
Who is this?
So my understanding is the internal potency of the Lord is described here in this verse, and whereas the consort of Lord Brahma, who is also Saraswati, these two people are two different. Is my understanding correct, Prabhu? They are not the same.
You try to understand this. For example, the different presiding deities in this world, and actually demigods, like sun god, wind god, your water god, right? The different faculty members. Who are these people? Are the same, different? Next chapter is coming actually. You see, in text numbers, actually in chapter 9 also, it is explained that you see when Lord was sitting on his throne in Vaikuntha, all these personalities who are eternally existing in the Vaikuntha, they were actually serving the Lord. And then when Lord wanted to create, in our Sanatana Goswami, he says, Chaya Rupataya. They're actually there. Chaya means the energy of the Chaturbhuj Purusha, the Vishnu Murti, you can also say in one way, because they are with the Vishnu. And that becomes manifest. Sometimes by the will of the Lord, the Shakti is infused into a living entity to act in that particular capacity. So therefore, when Brahma was praying that, we, the 11 senses, are drinking the nectar through the cup-like senses. So there, Sanatana Goswami, he is raising the objection that how is it possible that Brahma and other demigods, the 11 deities, they were able to enjoy Krishna's beauty in the Brajavasis? Brajavasis are eternal. Then how come these demigods who are temporary, they could enjoy that? Then he's giving this samadhan. He's saying, no, not this Brahma. Speaking about that, like in the spiritual world, they are also serving the Lord in personality. But when they come to this world, they are serving, and they know what you say, shadow, pratibimba. So as long as, therefore, this is another thing we need to understand. You see, sometimes people don't know that how one spiritual position is revealed. This is also another way to understand here. That initially a devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness, and they are serving the Lord or they are praying to the Lord. And then gradually as they move on, they may want to develop a taste to serve the Lord in a particular mood, a particular form. Okay? And then according to the mood of worship, that Swarupa knowledge will be revealed to them. So that is what it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll stop here today, and we'll continue from chapter 5 next week. We'll try, maybe see how far we can do. Then after this, I'm thinking we should do the presentation maybe here. I'll talk to Vishwasya during the Prabhu sometime. We'll make some plan for you. Make some plan. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha
Vaishnavyo Namah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri
Jai.
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 Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Prabhuji.
much.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhu, Hare
Dandavat to everybody.
Thank you, Dandavat.